President Trump just wrapped up talks with the Australian Prime Minister at the White House this afternoon, securing a joint rare earth and critical minerals deal. The $8.5 billion partnership is part of the Trump administration's effort to seek alternatives to China for those materials. Australia's leader says both countries will contribute billions to mineral projects in the next 6 months. President Trump added this.
And we work together very much on rare earths, critical minerals, and lots of other things. We're really working on anything having to do with military protection, military ships, vehicles, guns, ammunition, everything, the whole thing.
That agreement with Australia is in contrast to tension with Colombia's president. President Trump is threatening to raise tariffs on the South American nation and stop all U.S. payments to it. The escalation follows another deadly strike from the U.S. military on an alleged drug-carrying vessel. The Defense Department says the target was linked to a Colombian group considered a terrorist organization. For more on this, I want to bring in CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang. So, Weijia, what is the president's goal with the threatened tariffs on Colombia?
Well, the president said he would be announcing what those tariffs would entail sometime today. And so far, we have no details. But you're right in that he did threaten and warn Colombia that it was going to happen imminently. The president also saying that the U.S. is going to cut off aid to Colombia as he expressed his frustration with how the country is handling the flow of drugs into the U.S., according to President Trump. He also said that Colombia is out of control and now they have the worst president they've ever had. He's a lunatic who's got a lot of problems, mental problems. So clearly the president is not holding back when it comes to the relationship with Colombia's president. And again, with what he is alleging is a flow of drugs into the U.S. And the president also elaborated on that. Although, as I mentioned, Lindsay, we don't know how much the rate could be. The U.S. certainly does receive a lot of Colombian imports. And so we'll have to hash out exactly what that rate is and when it goes into effect.
Okay, and turning back to today's meeting at the White House, what more can you tell us about this mineral deal and the president's meeting with Australia's prime minister?
Well, as you mentioned, this is a deal that they say is worth about $8.5 billion because the U.S. wants to access these very important rare earth minerals that are used for everything from producing vessels in the missiles in the military to EVs to smartphones and computers and flat screens. And we know that China really dominates in this field and in recent days just added more restrictions on what exports can leave China. And so this is one example of combating that. The administration says this deal with Australia has been in the works for several months now. And a U.S. official tells CBS News that it really is about meeting the moment as this industry develops so quickly and as China continues to dominate. And so this is a big deal for the U.S. and Australia relations.
All right, Weijia Jiang, thank you.